Fish and Wildlife Commission, the star of the night, Officer Tom Kist. I'll let him elaborate on the do's and the don'ts and the rules and the regs of the state of Florida. This man is a plethora of information. Very nice guy to get to know. I feel as though he's one of my friends. Let's hear it for Tom Kist.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Like Steve says, I'm Officer Tom Kist. I'm with the Florida Fish and Wildlife. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Can anybody hear me back there? Okay. Tell you a little bit about myself. I want to talk about the Fish and Wildlife Commission because a lot of people don't understand what it is. Freshwater fishing. What is it that you really want to know?
How to catch them.
How to catch them. I can't help you with that. Don't ask me where they're at or how to catch them. Okay, the black bass, the largemouth bass, you can have 5 of those. They have to be 14 inches in order to keep them. Anything smaller than 14 inches, you immediately have to place it back in the water. Let's see, the black crappie, you can have 25 of those. On Lake Griffin, there's a new rule that just was established this year. They have to be 10 inches. So all the 25, they have to be 10 inches. But like I said, if you're over 65, a Florida resident, you do not have to have a fishing license. Now, what's been happening is people come from other states, they come down to Florida, and Florida will issue you a Florida-only driver's license. That way you can do your banking while you're down here during the winter months. And a lot of people, they'll take that Florida-only driver's license and they'll go to Walmart, they'll show their license, and they'll get a resident fishing license, or they'll show the officer that Florida-only driver's license, I'm over 65, and that doesn't work. You have to be a Florida resident. Now, what constitutes a Florida resident? People say, I own property down here, I own property up in New York, I own a car down here, I own a car up there, I own a boat here, whatever. It's pretty much wherever you're registered to vote. You can't vote in 2 different places. You can pay taxes in 2 different states, you can own homes in 2 different states, but you can only vote in 1 state. So pretty much, if you're registered to vote and you live in Florida, and I'm not going to, go over residency requirements or anything like that. But if you are a true citizen of the state of Florida and you're over 65, then you do not need to have a license. If you're younger than 65, you can buy a resident fishing license. Anything else different than that, you have to buy a non-resident fishing license. Yes, sir.
That's saltwater and freshwater.
Yes,
no
sir.
license required.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does that free license also apply to hunting licenses?
If you're over 65, it also, and you're a Florida resident, it also applies to all your hunting. All your hunting, the only thing you'll have to worry about when you hunt is you might have to get a quota permit, and then if you hunt ducks, you're going to need to get a federal duck stamp.
Pier fishing, where you pay a fee to get on the pier to fish.
Right.
Included on that, or is that not?
That's saltwater?
Yes, sir.
I should have started out that I don't saltwater. I'm landlocked in the Lake in Sumter County, and it's, like I said, 8 years since I went to the academy, so saltwater is out of the question. But I'm pretty sure that once you pay the fee, that pier has a blanket license for everybody that's on the pier. Any other questions about licenses? Yes, sir.
What about the ponds within the villages? Do you need a license for those?
Okay, the question was, what about the ponds within the villages? Yes, you do need licenses. You do need the license. They're not private. They're not privately owned ponds. A privately owned pond would be that one property owner owns all the land around that particular lake or pond, and anybody can come and go into the villages. So yes, you do need
Tom, off of Cherry Lake.
Okay.
And the Morrises bought all of that surrounding area around that.
Okay.
And that's the reason that they don't want anybody fishing on Lake Sumter because they do own that.
Now, can the public go on that lake, or
No, sir.
is there houses that are built along the lake?
Yes, sir, on part of it.
So it's not a private lake then? It's not a private lake. And if you can gain access, say example, if you have a friend that has a house on that lake and he says, yeah, you can launch your boat to go fish it, because that water right there is owned by the state of Florida. It's not owned by the Morses. So
The property in the Bridgeport do not own up to the water, or the safe area there.
okay, well,
But you do have a county road coming through there. You do have a right of way from the county road so many feet off.
you can't trespass on a county road, so yeah, you can fish right in that location too, or you can launch a boat from that location, a small boat. So
Best thing, guys, is
We start in trouble.
stay off of it. Every year, in regards to the club, and the guys are adamant that they want to fish that water. I'd like to fish that water too, but I'm not going to do it. So
Well, like I
I'm
said-
saying stay off of it.
like I said, as long as you're not trespassing to get onto the water or into the water from how you're getting on there, then once you're on the water, that's the state of Florida's water. Now, it seems to me if there's a county right-of-way that goes along the portion of that lake, then it's not considered a private lake. So, but he's the president, I'm not.
Start in trouble.
Anybody have any more questions about fishing? Sailing club earlier this week, and the topic was on alligators. And the alligators where people are feeding them, those are the ones you need to worry about. But out there in the wild, they're way more afraid of you than you are of them. They might go after the crappie because that's what they're opportunist feeders, so they're going to try to feed whatever they can. You fall out of the kayak, there is a possibility that
Fair meal. He could be the next meal.
But let me tell you this: we've been studying alligator attacks since 1948. Since 1948, there's only been 300 unprovoked alligator attacks in the whole entire state of Florida, and only 22 of those people had died. So you got better odds in getting hit by lightning out there than you do getting attacked by an alligator.
I want to tell you a story. This is the truth. I was over at Bonita just before the meeting, and I have a witness, David, in the back. I lost a huge bass, a huge one. And it's not a fish story. This was... God bless you, Steve. This was a big fish. The hook broke out, the line didn't break, but I had it almost on the shore. And it was just when it was starting to get dark. And I could barely see the fish. I saw the head, and that was it. That's the best I can tell you. Bonita, over Canal Street.
Lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called